Hey guys, Zach here, and today I'm going to be redoing this overgrown mess of a tank, transforming it into a beautiful community tank. This tank originally housed my betta fish, Gus. However, he did recently pass away. Due to natural causes, he lived a nice long life, but it is just time to move on. The first thing I did was just completely empty out the tank, remove all the plants and all the shrimp and hardscape that was in the tank, and then I can start to build up the new foundation. Now I'm just going to add some new substrate to the old substrate just as a capping layer to get a little bit of a cleaner look for the sand. I do want to keep the old stuff, however, though, because it does have all that beneficial bacteria. That is why I am keeping it underwater. I don't want the bacteria to die out on me as I'm rescaping this tank. For this scape, I wanted to use dragonstone along with mopani wood. Both of these were previously in the tank, and I just want to keep those nice hardscape pieces that already have some beneficial bacteria built up on them, just to get this tank cycled right away. Now, as I was scaping, I was trying to start with this nice large piece of mopani wood and just center the scape around that. However, I just was not happy with what I was doing, so instead I decided to start with this larger rock and scape the wood around that, and I found that that was much better, and I eventually stumbled onto a scape that I was quite happy with. One thing I do want to mention is that when you do decide to scape with dragonstone, try and keep it going the same direction so that all of the openings and lines of the rock are going the same direction. Otherwise, it can create a very messy scape and really be distracting. With the scape completed, I just wanted to glue everything together just to add a little bit of stability to the entire structure. With the glue drying, I decided that now was a good time to add in some smaller dragonstone around the base of the structure, and this just adds a lot and makes it look a little bit more detailed, and I really like how this worked. Now, before I filled up the tank, I added in some moss with some super glue directly to the hardscape, and I just put this moss in transition areas and contact points to hide anything that was kind of unsightly that would look better as just moss. With the moss attached, I can fill up the tank and move on to planting. For the planting in this tank, I really didn't have any goal or really idea with what I wanted to do with the planting. All I knew is that I wanted to replant as many of the plants that I did pull out of this tank originally, so you could say that the goal was really just to get it as densely packed as possible. With the planting completed, I wanted to get the shrimp that I originally took out of this tank back in as soon as possible. Don't worry, since this tank already has cycled substrate and cycled materials in it, the bacteria is perfectly fine and it can take this amount of bioload right off the start. With everything in this tank complete, I was quite happy with the scape and how it all turned out. However, I can't help but feel that there was something missing from this tank, and I guess you could say it was just because I was so used to having my betta fish in here that it just felt kind of lifeless. So I decided that I would go to the store in the morning and pick up some new fish for this tank. After returning from the store, I acclimated the fish and then I added them to this tank. I got a pair of Kribensis as well as a school of Penguin Tetra for this tank. After I added them in, I decided to turn out my aquarium light just so that the fish could acclimate and adjust to their new home. So the next day I come in and I turn on the lights and I get to see these beautiful fish schooling. That's a really good sign. They're not really hiding from me too much. I've got the camera right next to the tank and they're looking phenomenal. Even the Kribensis is out and swimming with the school, which is really awesome to see. When I did first come down, however, I didn't see this Kribensis too much. It was hiding in the rockwork, and I just couldn't really find it, which wasn't a great feeling for me. You know, I just got them, so I was a little nervous. You know, maybe it was super stressed and it did die from stress. But then I saw this crimp come out, and I was super happy to see this. I do believe that this is a male-female pair. You guys would have to let me know if it's not. But if it is, I'm super excited, and I hope that they will breed in this tank. With all of that being said, the shrimp in this tank are also doing quite well. This one's just sifting through some of the loam that was left over from the previous scape, and another shrimp is just taking refuge in some of the moss, and it's really great to see. There are lots of nooks and crannies in here, so I know these shrimp are going to do very well in this tank. So that is everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and making it this far. If you have enjoyed, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.